this week 6 survivor options. This just in, I'm not alive anymore. Kelly is, though. All right, here are the teams. There's a lot of candidates. There's like 9 of them this week.
Mm-hmm.
Here are the teams that I would not play if I were in Circa Survivor. I understand a lot of people are not in Circa, but I will do them through the prism of Circa Survivor considerations, including Christmas and, of course, before that, Thanksgiving. So the Eagles are 7.5-point favorites at the Giants. The Eagles are still the Black Friday Thanksgiving quirk save. They play Chicago at home the day after Thanksgiving. So I'm not going to play the Eagles at the Giants. By the way, they also play the Giants at home and the Raiders at home. So I would not play the Eagles this week. You agree?
Agreed. Easy
That's
pass.
That's an easy one. Easy pass.
Easy pass. And just the point spread we talked about yesterday. Yeah. Like, this is, I think we're overrating the Eagles a little bit right now.
I got the Giants plus the points. All right. Next, again, of the big favorites that I am not willing to play, the Broncos are 7.5-point favorites at the Jets. Now, they play on Christmas for Survivor players here at Circa, but that's at Kansas City, so I'm not sure that's as big of a consideration to save. However, Week 7 next week, they're home against the Giants. Week 8, they're home against the Cowboys. Week 10, they're home against the Raiders. I don't know if you know this, Kelly, but that's elevation.
That's right.
Altitude, not so much, but elevation. So there's plenty of more chances, including next week. Would you rather play them at the Jets or at home against the Giants? I'd rather go home against the Giants.
Neutral field, technically, right there in London.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
The Giants is London, but the others are in elevation. So I wouldn't play them. Other opportunities to use them.
Pretty easy skip for me as well.
Okay. Yep. Next, Chargers. We'll go down to 4.5-point favorite. But a lot of people might think about the Chargers at the Dolphins. A lot of people think the Dolphins aren't good at football. You do have an away game at Tennessee, and you do have a home game against the Raiders in the month of November. Do you really trust the Chargers with their banged-up offensive line and now no Omarion Hampton? Would you trust them at Miami? I would not.
Yep, not on my list either.
Okay.
Maybe the Chargers, like the Cardinals, will show off a running back fighting for a starting job who will fumble right at the 1-yard line.
Too soon. Next chance.
Sorry, it's so ridiculous.
Too soon. Next consideration that I am not playing, and this is the final one that I'm not playing of the group of 9, would be the Washington Commodores. The Washington Commanders are 4.5-point home favorites, Monday Night Football, second of the 2 Monday night games, versus the Chicago Bears. They do play on Christmas at home against the Cowboys. If you are in Circa Survivor, I would save them. Does it mean that it's a better game home against Dallas than it is against Chicago this week? I'm not saying that's the case. But the Christmas quirk is just so small in terms of your options. I think you save them. By the way, they also play Week 11 at Miami. You might want to prefer them there. But I'm just saying, just because of Christmas alone, I don't think you can play them here.
Yeah, this is, I would say that Commanders and Broncos are cross-offs for me, but considered for a little while. Also, the biggest one with these last 2 teams that we just hit on, Commanders and Chargers, like, I'd rather play them when they're healthy, too.
Yeah,
you know? I'm missing significant pieces.
So the group of 9, those are the 4 that I am not playing. Philadelphia, Denver, Chargers, or I would not play. Philadelphia, Denver, Chargers, and Washington for all the reasons stated. Now, of the remaining 5, there is one that is neither an X nor a check. That is a sort of injury-dependent category for this 5th team. And this has to do with everything with fading or playing, I should say, against the Baltimore Ravens. And that is, can we go to the middle one, guys? So the Ravens, the interesting thing about this one is that the team I'm referring to is the LA Rams, who are 7.5-point favorites at the Baltimore Ravens. I'm not playing this I wouldn't play this for a few reasons. But it's still injury report dependent. First of all, you do have a home game against the Saints. You have an away game against Carolina in the month of November. So there are other places to play them. And also with the Ravens, here's the thing. We know that Madubuike, he's out for the year with a neck injury. He's not going to play. We don't think Lamar is going to play with a hamstring because they said multiple weeks. We don't think Roquan's playing because of the hamstring, multiple weeks. And we don't think Marlon Humphrey is playing with a calf injury, multiple weeks. But we don't know about Kyle Hamilton. We don't know about Patrick Ricard. We don't know about Ronnie Stanley. So there are some Chidobe Awuzie. We don't know about some of the Baltimore MASH unit players. Either way, maybe that's enough, even the absences that are expected. Maybe that's enough already to say don't play the Rams. And I think it probably would be for me too, but I just wanted to be specific about it.
They are in consideration for me.
Okay.
It is.
That's why I put the middling thing.
I'll put it this way, Gill, because I don't want to ruin one that you have coming up. I'll put it this way: if the injury report, if it looked identical to what it did last week, Rams would be in very heavy consideration.
That is exactly why I couched it that way. If it's identical, yes, I think it's a play. If they get a few guys back, maybe you don't think that way. Now, here are the 4 from which I think I would have played were I still in this. Colts, 6.5-point favorites versus the Cardinals. Yes, there's a game in 2 weeks that is home against the Titans. But you know what? Screw the Cardinals. They're not any good at football. Colts are way better. I would consider the Colts. You've already used the Colts, though.
Just used the Colts last week. I don't know that I would be as excited about this one.
There's a better place to play them.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this, but Tennessee just beat Arizona. But I still think that would be a consideration for me. A second consideration would be the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are at Acrisure versus the Cleveland Brownies. 5-point favorites. Now, you do have other options with the Steelers. Week 11, Week 12, Week 15. Home Cincy, at Chicago, home Miami, respectively. And it is a division game, and so some people, would go against that. But as we've pointed out, courtesy of Jason Lisk over there at Pool Genius, that's a complete fallacy, the division game thing. When it's a 5-point favorite or more, you're actually more likely to get the win when it's against a division opponent than it is against a non-division opponent. It's one of the big myths. So I would consider the Steelers because while there is a couple other opportunities to use them, I don't know. They'd be in play for me.
They are the leader in the clubhouse right now.
There you go.
They are
Kelly Bidlin's leader in the clubhouse.
Now, this is what scares me, though. This was the game that was penciled in from before the season.
It's extra rest, and it's Dylan Gabriel.
And them coming back, right? It's the extra rest for Pittsburgh and the Brownies coming back from the UK.
Not only Dylan Gabriel, but Dylan Gabriel coming back from the UK. Exactly. All right.
And I don't really want to consider using the Steelers further down the road.
Well, that's what I mean. You want to get rid. Colts are a consideration. Steelers are a consideration. There's 2 more considerations. Raiders, 5-point favorites hosting the Titans. Yes, there's a home game against the Browns and a home game against the Giants later. But really, can you resist as long as Brian Callahan's still around?
I can, Gil. This was the one that you sent in where I was kind of like last week, where I was like, oh boy, did I not think about this one enough?
Yeah, I'm just saying it's a consideration. Yeah. Not saying I would end up with it. And then the final consideration would be, in addition to the Colts, Steelers, and Raiders, would be the Green Bay Packers, of course. This will be the most selected survivor pick by far this week. Everybody's going to be on them. If you are not on them, you are going to be rooting for the Cincinnati Bengals like hell.
Yep.
Packers are playing on Thanksgiving at Detroit, but I'm not sure there's a lot of people that are saving them for that. 14.5-point favorites this week. Yes, they have a Carolina home game week 9. Yes, they're at the Giants week 11. Yes, they're hosting the Bears week 14. So the Packers, and this has always been the case all year as we pointed them out in these segments, have so many opportunities to be played. But will it be any better than a 14.5-point favorite against these Bengals with just the quarterback situation being just completely in tumult? So anyway, that's what I came down to. It's between Indy, Pittsburgh, the Raiders, and the Packers, with an honorable mention to the Rams based on the Ravens injury report. But Green Bay will absolutely be the number 1 pick. Have you used them already?
No, I have not. And It is, so I will say for the 3 considerations for me, it is Pittsburgh, LA, and Green Bay. And with all due respect to Drew, I think if that Baltimore injury report looks the same, I'd rather use the Rams than the Packers this week.
So I put them in there.